Today, when I was taking a poop, I came up with an insane question. Do bass have feeding preferences? So I scrolled through a bunch of studies and websites and papers, and finally, if you don't want to read through 500 pages of studies, stay tuned because this can change your bait selection forever. Alright, let's start off by looking at the research. This research is basically a research of how sunfish have preferences and how these preferences can follow a pattern known as preference transitivity. So this just basically tells us how sunfish do have preferences. And by the way, if you didn't know, largemouth bass are sunfish. Woohoo! Now, these preferences are not like our preferences in food. A kid might prefer chips over salad because it tastes better, even though the salad might be better for the kid. Now, bass are the complete opposite. Bass preferences come from nutrition and benefits and not from taste. So largemouth bass might prefer a bait due to a few reasons. 1. Largemouth bass are predators. They tend to ambush prey and try to find an easy meal. A lot of times, if a type of bait fish is very abundant, making them easy to catch, the bass will go for them. For example, if bluegill in pond X is very abundant, then the bass will often be able to catch one off guard. Therefore, the bass will likely to keep on consuming bluegill. 2. The size of the bait. People often say big bait catch big fish. Now that isn't particularly wrong because bass have preferred bait size. Bass tend to target prey that is about 1/3 or even half of their body size. A meal too small might not provide enough nutrients, and a meal too big might be difficult to target and ambush, although they can still go for smaller or bigger foods. So if you use a 10-inch glide bait, your catch is likely to be among the 20 to 30-inch range, which is roughly 4 to 12 pounds, depending on the environment. 3. Environmental factors. The research shows that environmental factors can change fish's feeding habits. For example, when the water temperature is favorable for the bass, they might feed on more aggressive and bigger meals. This is why topwater, swim baits, jigs work so well during spring and summer. While during colder temperatures, when the fish are much more lethargic, they might chase after something easier to catch, so it's less likely to waste energy, like crawfish, since crawfish are known to be sluggish and abundant during winter. 4. One of the most important parts is nutrition. Bass, just like us, require specific nutrients to grow. They need protein, fat, calories, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, without talking about the other proponents like environment, size, and abundancy, when they prefer a prey over others, it's likely because it gave the bass enough energy. Now let's talk about bass and taste. Bass do have taste. In fact, taste is a very big part in determining bait and its preferences. But unlike humans, they can taste sweet, sour, and bitter and all that. Their taste buds are used to determine chemical cues in the water like amino acids and sugars. This is crucial because injured or wounded baitfish releases chemicals like amino and fatty acids upon stress. Bass will likely taste these chemicals and attack the baitfish. So unlike humans, taste is not used by bass to determine if a food is yummy or not. It's for finding food and determining whether a food is edible. This is also why if a bass bites into something that doesn't have the scent or texture of a baitfish or something edible, like soft plastic, they might spit it out. Now let's talk about how this contributes to bait selection. When you're at a lake with shad, bass will likely prefer it, especially during spring, summer, and fall, as shad is a more nutritious fish to eat compared to bluegill or crawfish. They're also bigger in size, upping your chances of a bigger fish. Now, when you're fishing in a pond, bluegills might be your best bet, since most ponds here where I live do not have shad, and bluegill are often abundant. Occasionally, bigger bass might go for species like trout, other bass, and frogs. These prey are nutritious and a bigger meal, which many bigger bass need. During winter, crawfish might be the best meal since they're slower, abundant, and much more easier to attack for a bass. This doesn't mean a crawfish wouldn't work better in a lake or during summer, as we all know crawfish work really well year-round. They're a slow, easy meal that the fish will target if they come across one. It's also good to note that their feeding preferences can change based off many different reasons that are very complex. But in general, this is how you will find most bass. In conclusion, fish's feeding preferences are based off of abundancy, size, environment, and nutrients, and not off of taste. This video took ages of research, so if you learned something new, be sure to leave a like. Thanks for watching.